Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we got a lot of news about the Cybercab, as we have had some Tesla engineers talking about it, and I took a little road trip to the Berlin store to get a closer look at it myself and found some very interesting things about the Cybercab that no one is talking about. We also have Holmar's catalog making a side-by-side comparison with Waymo and Tesla's full self-driving version 13, and as Holmar's wrote, the result was eye-opening. And I still don't think people really get the sentence from Elon Musk back at Battery Day 4 years ago.
But I think also for long-term competitiveness, eventually every car company will have long-range electric cars. Eventually every company will have autonomy. I think, but not every company will be great at manufacturing. Tesla will be absolutely head and shoulders above anyone else in manufacturing. That is our goal.
It is so important to understand when it comes to the Cybercab, but I will explain that in today's video, where I will show you why no one stands a chance to keep up with the Tesla Cybercab and Tesla's full self-driving software. No one, even if they solve full self-driving at the same time, not even if Tesla gave them Tesla software for free, they would not be able to compete. There is also a reason why one company can sit on like 85% of the market like Uber does, even though all they basically offers is an app. And the same thing will happen for Tesla's full self-driving cars because of the same kind of reasons as for Uber. This is inevitable. So let me show you all of this and what nobody's talking about, and let's dive right in. So I went on a little road trip with my friend Peter to go check out the Cybercab in the Berlin store and then check out the Berlin factory as well. Because, as you might know, the Cybercab is on display in many places around Europe and in America as well. And in the US, a Tesla engineer called Eric did a little intro about the Cybercab that Tess Ali shared on his X account. And we got some nice information about it, and I discovered something that I have not heard anyone else talk about before, but I will get back to that later. First, let's check out what the Tesla engineer Eric had to say, because he talked about how the Tesla Cybercab is designed as a two-seater because 82% of all drives are done with two persons or less. But also because this makes the cleaning of the car much simpler, so Tesla can use their automated cleaning station with robots cleaning the car. So the inside of the car is also designed to be easy to clean for a robot, and that is also why it doesn't have any pockets and only the middle console that the robot can actually take out and empty automatically. And Eric said that the Cybercab roughly has half the parts of a normal car. So we already know that the unboxed production method will cut the cost of producing a car for Tesla in half, and the footprint of the factory that is needed as well, because of the way they produce the car. But then on top of that, you have to think about that the Cybercab will have half the components than a normal Tesla. So this kind of confirms what I have been talking about for a while now about the Cybercab. Not only do we know that the cost of producing a normal car will be cut in half with the new production method, and we know that the cost of Tesla to produce the Model Y and Model 3 platform is about $35,000 or thereabout. So half of that is $17,500. But then the Cybercab only uses about half of all the components that are in a normal Tesla car. So that will make it even cheaper for Tesla to produce. So as I've been saying, I think Tesla will be able to produce the Cybercab for about $15,000. Well, that almost seems conservative now, as half of the components should only save Tesla about $2,500. But of course, the big parts and the most expensive part of the car are of course still in the Cybercab. So I'm just going to stick with my prediction that when the production line is fully ramped up, Tesla will be able to produce a Cybercab for about $15,000. So to sell this robotaxi to everyone for $30,000 is definitely no problem for Tesla. So as I said before, this will make Tesla impossible to catch with the Cybercab. Because as Elon said back at Battery Day, Tesla will be head and shoulders above everyone else in manufacturing. That is our goal. That is their goal, to be best at manufacturing. Because as Elon said, everyone will have electric cars. Eventually, everyone will have full self-driving cars, but not everyone will be good at manufacturing. So Tesla's upper hand in autonomy is not only their full self-driving software and their unassailable lead in data collection and AI computer and solving AI vision, but it is their production as well. Because even if Tesla gave its software for free to someone like Ford, well, first of all, as we know, Ford will take at least 3 years to get a new model to market, so it will take Ford about 3 years to get their robotaxis on the street, even if Tesla gave them their software for free. So Tesla will still have their first mover advantage, which we will get back to in a second. But Ford will, of course, have to pay Tesla something for their software. But that is only a very small part of it, because Ford's EV platform cost them about $40,000 more to produce than they can sell them for. So the true price of something like the Marquis is probably somewhere like $80,000 to $100,000 for Ford to produce that car. And then they have to pay Tesla for the software as well. But Tesla, on the other hand, they can, for the cost of about $15,000, put a complete robotaxi on the street. So even if Ford is able to get their next generation EV platform to be half the price of their EVs today, it will still cost them about $45,000 to produce that car. That is still 3 times more expensive than the Cybercab if Ford is able to cut their cost in half with their next generation EV platform. And someone like Waymo is even worse off, as Waymo is not a car manufacturer at all. They have to buy their cars from someone, and so far it has been a very expensive Jaguar I-Pace, and now they are in talks with Hyundai and XPeng. Those are both still losing money on selling EVs, so Waymo is probably not getting an EV from them for less than $15,000 either. But then Waymo has to spend about $40,000 according to ARK Invest research on their sweep of sensors. So Waymo will never be able to compete on cost, as their sensors alone cost 2.5 times more than what Tesla can put an entire robotaxi on the street for, and much, much quicker. As Tesla has said, they can probably produce the Cybercab every 25 seconds. So no one, no matter how we look at it, legacy automakers or companies that already have robotaxis on the street and have had for 7 years, will never be able to compete with Tesla on cost and price. So, like Elon said, eventually everyone will have autonomous vehicle, maybe on Tesla software, but still, everyone will have autonomous vehicle, but everyone will be much more expensive than Tesla's Cybercab, because Tesla has not just made a full self-driving car, they have made so huge innovation in manufacturing that Elon also said there was about 100 times more innovation to be made in the manufacturing itself than the car itself. And that is exactly what Tesla has done, made so many innovations and completely changed how we build a car that even if Tesla gave their software for free to everyone, they would still not be able to compete on cost. And the other thing is that Tesla doesn't even have to spend $15,000 to put the robotaxis on the street. Ford will have to pay, let's say, $45,000 for the car and then some licensing to Tesla for the software. Waymo has to pay for the car as well and $40,000 on sensors. Tesla, on the other hand, don't have to spend $1 if they don't want to. And in the beginning of the production ramp, after they have had a few thousand Cybercabs testing it all out in a few cities around the US, they can start by just selling the Cybercab to customers for $30,000 as they have said it would cost, earning something like $15,000 for every Cybercab they put on the street, making the advantage for Tesla even greater when it comes to cost. And on top of that, the Cybercab customers will probably also have to pay a monthly subscription to Tesla software. So Tesla will still get returning profits for every Cybercab they put on the street, even though it's through the hands of their customers, and earn $15,000 upfront on the Cybercab, while everyone else have to pay like $50,000 to get their robotaxis on the street. This is not competition. Because of Tesla's manufacturing supremacy and the way they have even given customers access to their cars, there is literally no one else that could come even close to what Tesla has put in place here. And that also leads me to the finding I did when I saw the Cybercab, because there has been a lot of talk about what the Cybercab is made of, and if the color of the car was just put into the material so they don't need to get that expensive and complicated paint job for the Cybercab. Well, the one I saw in Berlin, that was one of the many Cybercabs that was at the V-Robot event, we could see that it was clearly wrapped. Inside the door opening, we could see places where the finish was not perfect, making it very, very easy to see that the golden color it has is just a golden wrap. And that kind of makes sense to me and fits perfectly with what we have seen Tesla has been doing for the last year. Because if you remember last year, Tesla started to offer new color wrap from the factory to its customers only in the US. So Tesla has been testing it out and experimenting with wraps for a long time now. So I think this makes perfect sense. As Geo also said on X, we have to expect that cars will get beaten up and properly vandalized with graffiti and such. So a car with paint would be too delicate of a product to have working as a robotaxi that's operating all the time, as a Waymo robotaxi. And we have seen countless examples of them getting vandalized as well. But they drive around in very delicate normal cars with paint job and so on. If someone makes graffiti on the Cybercab, it will just drive past the Cybercab workshop and get a new wrap and look as good as new and be back on the road in hours. As we know that an experienced company specializing in wrapping cars in vinyl can typically wrap a car in about 2 to 3 hours with a team of skilled professionals. And Tesla will be experienced, and the Cybercab is much easier to wrap than a normal car with handles and full of curves and special designs, because the car is designed with as few pieces as possible. So the wrap would be very easy. One on the door, one on the back side, one on the front side, one on the hood, one on the front lip, one on the roof, one on the back trunk, one on the lip trunk, and 2 small ones on each side above the door. That is all the pieces this car is made of, and that would be all the pieces of wrap you would have to do if the entire car got spray painted. But if the car only got graffiti on the hood and on one of the doors, that would only be 2 pieces of wrap. And off you go, good as new. No dirty chemicals to clean. No worry about expensive paint. And I think the stainless steel as the Cybertruck is just too expensive and too heavy. They want the efficiency of these cars to be awesome. This makes complete sense to me. Tesla will wrap the Cybertruck. What do you think? Is this just going to be for the prototype, or will the end version be a wrapped car, as it is much easier for Tesla than a paint shop, and they can easily, fast and cheap get a whole new one if the car get vandalized and look as good as new in no time at all? Let me know what you think down below. But I think this makes complete sense, since Tesla of course have thought of this as well, and this will probably be the easiest way to deal with this. But Eric, the Tesla engineer, also said that Cybercab is running on version 13, so the software that is in the other Tesla cars today. So there's not going to be any difference between the driving a Cybercab can do and the Tesla you already own or buy in the future will be able to do. And this will of course also make every other car company's cars utterly and completely obsolete. So this will also make the demand for Tesla's normal cars skyrocket, as they has this new software that can drive themselves, and the sales of normal cars from any other car brand fall off a cliff, more than they already are doing today because of the switch to BEVs. So that will also put even more pressure on the legacy automakers to just as quickly as possible to jump on Tesla software or risk being left for dead. as their product, even their BEVs, will be the flip phone of the car industry when the smartphone entered the market. And we know the Chinese will probably do this very quickly, as they do not want to be left behind, and they can make a new energy vehicle as short as 1.5 years. So the decline for the legacy automakers will happen extremely fast when Tesla solve full self-driving very soon, as Tesla will no longer just be disrupting the ICE car, they will be disrupting the BEVs that the other guys don't even earn money on yet. The legacy automakers don't even get to volume EV production before that product will be disrupted as well. Not easy being a legacy automaker. And for Tesla, this is yet just another profit machine, helping them with the Cybercab production compared to any other robotaxi company. Waymo doesn't sell cars, as they don't even make cars, so the only way they can earn money is a few dollars per ride. And that is also why they are still bleeding money here 7 years after they started their operations, and with 150,000 rides per week, but still not enough to get them to profitability. But Tesla will suddenly have customers, even existing ones that have already bought a car, but also new customers that is going to buy a new car that will also buy the full self-driving software if Tesla will even sell it. Or maybe you have to have a monthly subscription, making sure that every car Tesla puts on the road will be bringing in returning profits for Tesla as long as the car lives. Bring in a huge amount of profits for Tesla. So from something that has nothing to do with the Cybercab, something Waymo will never be able to do. Tesla sits with all the cards, from the data collection and the compute power that no one else has to make AI vision. So even if Waymo got all Tesla's data, they would not have the compute power to handle all that data. And Tesla has the manufacturing innovations, and they have a robotaxi that has been designed to be easy to maintain and clean, and they have multiple income streams that has actually nothing to do with the Cybercab itself, but they also earn money on selling them as well. They don't even have to spend any money to get them on the street if they don't want to. No one will be able to compete with this. And therefore Tesla will be able to offer rides that will be way cheaper than anyone else. And sure, eventually everyone will have autonomous vehicles, as many Wall Street analysts are saying, but they will not be able to compete anyway. Because if we look at other markets like software service or ride hailing, because we know with software, Microsoft sits on most of the market, and then Apple have a little piece of that as well, and that's basically it. And the phone market, well, we have Apple and Android, and that's basically it. And in ride hailing, we have Uber sitting on something like 85% of the market. Why is that? When it's basically just an app, why haven't hundreds of other companies just copied Uber's app? And why don't we have hundreds of ride-hailing companies? Well, it's called first mover advantage. And it really seems like Wall Street's analysts don't even think about this. Because if we take Uber, that Tesla will also disrupt, that sits on 85% of the ride-hailing market. Well, the first mover advantage have given Uber, firstly, brand recognition. Being the first allows Uber to establish brand trust and loyalty. Customers often associate the service itself with the brand name, making it harder for new entrants to gain traction. Just like a tablet is basically always called an iPad, no matter if it is Apple's iPad or an Android tablet. Then there is the network effect. For ride-hailing, the more users, both riders and drivers, the more valuable the service becomes. Because Uber's early start helped it create a vast network, making it difficult for competitors to match without significant initial investment or incentives. Then there is the economy of scale. Uber has scaled operation and can negotiate better deals with car providers and optimize their technology, reducing cost per ride, which competitors struggle to match initially. And Tesla will be able to spit out Cybercabs in the millions. So someone like Waymo with a few hundred cars or even 1,000 cars will always be uncompetitive, and so will legacy automakers, as they don't have Tesla's production method, so they can't get Tesla's scale before Tesla will be dominating, as the legacy automakers' economy will also be falling off a cliff as well as soon as Tesla's cars can drive themselves. And then there are the switching cost, as once users are accustomed to an app's interface, payment system, and reliability, switching to another service involves a learning curve and potentially loss of loyalty perks and so on. And then there is regulatory advantage. Being the first often involve navigating regulatory landscapes, which Uber did, setting precedent or even influencing regulators in their favor. Later entrants face established rules designed around the first mover. And lastly, there is the data advantage. Uber has a huge amount of data on consumers' behaviors, routes, pricing, etc., which allows for better service customization and operational efficiency that new entries don't have. So there really is something about the first mover advantage, and why we see many markets only ruled by winner take most. And the advantage for Tesla to be the first one to get robotaxis at scale, which Waymo has never been able to do. And Tesla software is already so much better at driving at Waymo's today, as Holmars also shared in his video, when he took the full self-driving version 13 to a test against Waymo. As he wrote, I had full self-driving and Waymo do the same drive, the same starting point and same end point. Both arrived with zero intervention, but Tesla had a fewer awkward moments and arrived in 15 minutes and 40 seconds, while the Waymo car took 43 minutes, nearly 3 times longer. So the Tesla with version 13 did the complete same route from start to finish with only a push of a button and parked itself afterwards. A true robo-taxi drive with zero intervention, and it did it 3 times faster than Waymo. And Homer said that they were done at the same time of day and with basically the same amount of traffic. But the reason he says that Waymo is so much slower is Waymo just can't drive on most roads or highway. So there are just so many limitations on the Waymo system, even though they have been operating as robotaxis for 7 years. So if you hear people say that Waymo is in front just because they have robotaxis on the street, they just don't know what they're talking about. So tell me, do you think customers will like to take the car that gets you to the destination in 43 minutes or in 15 minutes? Just that fact alone, everybody is going for the Tesla. Waymo is dead as soon as Tesla turns this on to the public as a robotaxi service. This was a route where Waymo was good at, as it is of course within their geofenced area. But Tesla would be able to drive Homer's catalog from LA to San Francisco and round the whole area, whereas Waymo can only operate in small pockets in these 2 cities. They can't even take you from one city to the other. And with all of these benefits that I have been explaining in this video, I don't understand how people can look at the data we have now and see any competition for Tesla on robotaxis. Tesla has all the pieces set in place, and version 13 has truly shown us how close we are on Tesla making this unsupervised, and that will not only disrupt Uber, Waymo, but also every other car company, even the likes of BYD, as their electric vehicles will become obsolete overnight. They will have to move so fast to stay alive, as the demand for their cars will fall off a cliff, as they can't drive themselves, while Tesla's demand will take off like a rocket. But with the pace the legacy automakers are able to implement new stuff, I'm afraid that they will not even know what hit them. They will just be lying dead on the road. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.